How's it, guys? It's Andrew here, and I want to chat to you about solar panels. Should you and I, as property investors, still be considering solar panels in 2025? Look, look at last year, 2024. We still had over 200 days of load shedding in South Africa. And yes, I know government have promised us, and Eskom has said we're going to have less load shedding, and things are going to get better. And I'm great optimistic, and it's positive, right? But the reality is, as property investors, we all know that there's still going to be blackouts. We're still going to have issues with Eskom. It's just the reality of it. And the reason I'm walking outside now is I want to share with you what we've been considering. One of my challenges here is that one of my properties, as you can see up here, is it's a thatch roof. So now how do we put solar panels on a thatch roof? Well, one of the solutions is putting carports up here with solar panel. Now, things have been pretty good recently. Yes, they have with Eskom. But the question is, how long will that last for? And what do your tenants really want? Here's the reality, guys. Your tenants want they want to they want to know that if they're going to rent a property from you, if there was load shedding, if there were any issues with Eskom, that they would be safe, that they would still have their lights on, they'll still be able to put the heater on. And are tenants prepared to pay more? Absolutely. And just remember that you've got your lower income tenants, your average earners, your middle class, and then you call it your luxury market. And maybe not so much for the lower income earners, but definitely for the middle income earners and your affordable housing in your luxury market. I've experienced it, I've seen it. People will pay more rent. And in fact, one of my students has gone completely solar on her multi-let. Now, look, it did cost a good few $100,000. And just to give you an idea, to go solar on a family house and to go full solar could be anything from 120,000 Rand to 200,000 Rand. So there's a cost involved. But if you work out the return on investment on that, right, and you increase your rent by, say, 10%, the reality is you'll probably get your money back in 5 to 7 years. And there's other benefits like now there's two questions. Are you going fully off grid, or are we just getting some solar just for light, and you still plugged into Eskom, and you still need batteries, you still need inverters, we still got to do maintenance, you need to think of all these things, right? And that's going to cost money. But if you get the right solar panels, the right system, and you do go all the way, the reality is you will save money as long as you maintain it. And will you get more tenants? Now, when I say get more tenants, have less vacancies. One of my students I just spoke about now, a few years ago in COVID, she was struggling with tenants, and she was struggling with getting tenants, and she was constantly having issues here in Joburg with regards to her vacancies, or vacancy level. Guys, she went fully solar. She spent hundreds of thousands of rands on her multi-lets. It took months to install, but her occupancy rate now is very, very, very high. She's able to charge a slightly higher rent. She doesn't have the issue of vacancies, because if you think a tenant's got the option of renting a property over here with no solar panels and the risk of them taking a 1-year lease, and there's blackouts and there's issues with Eskom, versus the house next door that's got solar panels, hey, instead of being 7,000 Rand rent over here, let's say it's 8,000 Rand rent over there, but they know the lights will always be on. If you were that tenant, which house would you go for? So, guys, in my personal opinion, where we are in South Africa, I love the fact that Eskom's been positive. They're trying their best. The reality is we're still going to have blackouts. We're still going to have issues with Eskom with the lights going off. So where you can, when you're buying a property, depending again, is it your lower, your middle, or your luxury? For the lower, maybe not so much. Maybe it's more just, small inverters, just purely for the lights. But in my personal opinion, start thinking of borehole for water. Start thinking of solar panels. Because when you buy the property, you're buying it for the long term. Look, if you're buying and selling a house, no, don't go put solar panels on and all that. I personally wouldn't do that. But if you're buying for the next 15, 20 years, yes, there's a capital outlay. But then work out the ROI. How long would it take you to get that money back by putting in the solar? That's what you got to think about. So, guys, my opinion, yes, I'll still definitely consider it. We consider it here at one of my properties here in Edenvale. And it is a big capital outlay, but we'll look at the next 10, 15, 20 years of the investment. Guys, hope you got some value. Any questions on that or any advice that you need, please in the comment section, reach out, ask. Remember, like, subscribe, and we'll speak to you soon.